Good morning to all of you. Myself is Dr. Jaidev Sharma from Department of Physics, Chaudhary Charan Singh University, Meerut. My topic of investigation is on the relation between hemispheric asymmetry in solar coronal rotation and solar activity. This slide shows the plan of my presentation. First and foremost, I would like to discuss some basics of the solar physics. After that, I will discuss the techniques to estimate the differential rotation of the sun. In the third stage, I will discuss a strong relationship between hemispheric asymmetry in solar rotation rate and solar activity indicators from year 2008 to 2018. And in the last, I will discuss my findings and summary. The structure of the sun can be categorized into two parts: the solar interior and solar atmosphere. Solar interior contains core, radiative zone, and convection zone, while the solar atmosphere contains photosphere, chromosphere, and corona. Core is the innermost part of the sun with temperature about 15 million Kelvin. In this region, the temperature and density is very high, and that triggers the nuclear reactions. So we can say that in the core, by the nuclear reaction, the energy is produced in the form of gamma photons. Above the core, there exists radiative zone with temperature about 80 lakh Kelvin. In the radiative zone, the temperature and density is also very high. That's why in this region, the energy propagates via the process of radiation. The radiative zone is covered by a convection zone with temperature about 20 lakh Kelvin. The density and temperature of convection zone is not too high as that of the radiative zone and core. That's why in this region, the material itself goes from high temperature to low temperature and vice versa. So in the convection zone, the energy propagates via the process of convection. Convection zone is covered by a layer which is known as the photosphere. Photosphere has temperature about 6000 Kelvin. It emits a visible spectrum, so it is visible to all of us. Some features like sunspots, granules, supergranules can be seen on the photosphere. Above the photosphere, there exists chromosphere with temperature about 10,000 Kelvin. It is measured in H alpha and ultraviolet range. The outermost part of the sun is called corona with temperature about 10 lakh Kelvin. It is spanning up to millions of kilometers in the space. Corona can be observed in radio, extreme ultraviolet, and X-ray range. Now, I would like to discuss some basic concepts of the solar rotation. Galileo Galilei was the first astronomer who observed sunspots from June 9 to 11, 1613, and by making drawings of the sunspots, he found that the sun rotates about its own axis. He also found that all the sunspots rotate with same angular velocity. So this type of rotational profile is called as the rigid rotation. After that, Richard Carrington in 1863 found some very interesting results regarding the rotation of the sun. He found that the rotation period of equator is 25 days and it increases up to 35 days towards the poles. So this diagram shows that the rotation period of equator is about 25 days and the middle latitude has rotation period about 26 days, and if we go near the poles, the rotation period increases up to 28, 31 and 35 days. So here we can see that the different latitudinal parts rotate with different rotation period. So this type of profile is called as the differential rotational profile. Actually, differential rotation is a phenomena in which different latitudinal regions rotate with different angular velocity. Later on, in 1993, Combe et al. Also found the similar type of rotational profile. This panel shows the differential rotation as a function of latitude. The x-axis shows the latitude from 60 degrees south to 60 degrees north. The y-axis shows rotation rate in degree per day. Here we can see the rotation rate at equator is highest and it decreases on both sides of the poles. So again, Combe et al. Also establishes the rotational profile of sun as differential. Now I would like to discuss the methods to estimate the rotation period. Tracer tracking method is one of the oldest method in which some visible features like sunspots, blazes, filaments, coronal holes can be tracked day by day. So the upper panel shows the locations of the sunspots, and we can see these sunspots are moving along the right side. So by the movement of these sunspots, the rotational profile of the sun can be obtained. Spectroscopic method is the second method in which by the shifting of spectral lines, the rotation period can be estimated. Flux modulation method is very advanced method in which the solar flux is modulated with the help of solar rotation. This method is very first used by Watts et al. In 2001. One of the example of this group is shown here. The left panel shows the temporal variation of radio flux at 2.8 gigahertz for the year 1990. Here we can see several peaks in the flux. These peaks shows the periodicity in the rotation. The right panel shows the corresponding autochronogram up to lag of 150 days. Here we can see several secondary maximas in this autochronogram in which the first secondary maxima is highest than the others. That means the first secondary maxima has higher statistical significance than the other maximas. That's why in order to estimate the rotation period, first secondary maxima is used. Now I will discuss how to extract the solar flux from the solar full disk images. Actually, in this case, we made a total of 17 strips from 80 degrees south to 80 degrees north. For example, this strip belongs to 80 degrees south, and this one is 70 degrees south, 60 degrees south. This is the equatorial strip. This is 10 degree north strip. This is 20 degree north strip up to, and this is 80 degree north strip. The length of each strips contains all the pixels on the solar full disk images, and the width of these strips are about 2 pixels. The width can be vary according to the requirement. Here, finally, we can say that we inserted total of 17 strips on equal interval of 10 degree latitudes, and after that we extracted the flux from these strips. Now I will discuss what is the meaning flux here. Actually, mean of all pixel values corresponding to each latitude is called as the flux. So we extract the latitudinal flux from the images and we convert it as a time series. Here I will discuss a strong relationship between hemispheric asymmetry in rotation rate and solar activity indicators. For this purpose, we used the observations at 30.4 nanometer, 19.5 nanometer, and 28.4 nanometer from 2008 to 2018 by the instrument Stereo A. So the left panel shows the temporal variation of hemispheric UV flux for the year 2014. The upper left panel shows the hemispheric flux for the northern hemisphere, while the bottom panel shows the southern hemispheric flux. Here again we can see several peaks in the flux, so we can say that there also exists the periodicity in the rotation. The right panel shows their corresponding autocorrelograms. Again we can see several secondary maximas in the autocorrelograms in which first peak is highest than the others. That means the first peak has higher statistical significance. In order to estimate the rotation period, we fitted the Gaussian function on the first secondary maxima. The central value of Gaussian function gives the synodic rotation period in days. So in both cases, for the northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere, the rotation period is about 25.7 days and 26.6 days. Here we can see a considerable asymmetry in the hemispheric rotation rate. This asymmetry is about 1 day. Here we introduced a new parameter which is known as asymmetry index, AI. This is defined as AI is equal to omega n minus omega s upon omega n plus omega s. Omega n is the rotation rate of northern hemisphere and omega s as that of the southern hemisphere. If AI is negative, then we can say that the northern hemisphere rotates faster than the southern hemisphere. On the other hand, if AI is negative, then the southern hemisphere rotates faster than the northern hemisphere. So we found some very interesting results from this contour plot. In this contour plot, the x-axis shows the logarithmic of temperature for used wavelengths. For example, the 10 to the power 4.9 Kelvin shows the wavelength 30.4 nanometer. The temperature 10 to the power 6.15 Kelvin shows 19.5 nanometer, and 10 to the power 6.3 shows Kelvin shows the temperature wavelength 28.4 nanometer. The y-axis shows the year from 2008 to 2018. The color code shows the percentage of asymmetry index. Here we found some very interesting results from these contour plots. In the contour plot, there is some positive and negative values. So as I earlier discussed, the positive value shows that the northern hemisphere rotates faster, and the negative value shows that the southern hemisphere rotates faster. Here in this case, the hemispheric asymmetry varies up to 4%. So some interesting results are the average asymmetry for all wavelengths follow the same type of behavior as that of the individual wavelengths. And second, asymmetry index is highest in year 2011 and decreases on both sides of this year. Here it seems that asymmetry in rotation rate leads the solar activity. In this slide, we show a very strong relationship between hemispheric asymmetry in rotation rate and solar activity indicators. In left panels A, B, and C, we show a cross correlation between hemispheric asymmetry in rotation rate and sunspot numbers as a function of shift in years. Gaussian function has been fitted to calculate the more accurate value of the shift in years. In these cases, Gaussian peaks occurs at 1.7, 1.7, 1.3, and 1.7 years for 30.4, 90.5 and 28.4 nanometer respectively. So we can say that hemispheric asymmetry in rotation rate leads sunspot numbers by about 1.5 years. The right panels D, E, and F shows cross correlation of hemispheric asymmetry in rotation rate with extracted EUV flux as a function of shift in years for 30.4 nanometer, 19.5 nanometer, and 28.4 nanometer respectively. In these cases, Gaussian peaks occurs at 0.09, 0.9, and 1.3 years respectively. So finally, we can say that asymmetry leads extreme EUV flux by about 1 year. So on an average, we can say that in all the panels from A to F, the asymmetric behavior is same. Finally, we can say that the Gaussian peaks for panels A, B, and C are occurred at 1.7, 1.3, and 1.7 respectively for 30.4 nanometer, 19.5 nanometer, and 28.4 nanometer respectively. So we can say that during the 24th solar cycle, the hemispheric asymmetry in rotation rate leads the sunspot numbers by about 1.56 years. In the same way, in the right panels, the Gaussian peaks occurs at 0.09, 0.9, and 1.3 years respectively for 30.4 nanometer, 19.5 nanometer, and 28.4 nanometer. So again, we can say that the hemispheric asymmetry in rotation rate leads extreme ultraviolet flux by about 1 year. So from these results, we can say that there is a possibility that this type of asymmetry may also be observed on photosphere and solar interior also. So finally, we can say that the formation of sunspots is promoted by the hemispheric asymmetry in rotation rate in addition of differential rotation. Thank you very much. Thank you.